Hey guys, this is Bayker Blankenship, and you're watching the Midwest Mixtape podcast.
Hi, and welcome to the Midwest Mixtape Podcast live from the Barn Studio. You got the Mox here, and I'm joined online right now with Bayker Blankenship. Bayker, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Life's pretty good right now at Furrow Baker, right?
It's it's doing all right. We're actually just chilling in the studio right now and getting some things cut, and it's going pretty well. So,
Sounds like it's been a little bit of a whirlwind, even from, maybe even timeline it for us. A year ago, what did your life look like? 6 months, 6 months ago, what did your life look like? And then, obviously you have a lot of things going on right now that we're going to get into, but kind of timeline it for us if you don't mind.
well, about man, it's probably been almost 2 years now. I got my first guitar and started learning and didn't really enjoy it at first, and then I picked it up around my junior year and my going into my senior year really hard, and kind of started learning a lot more and just having fun with it, being what I wanted to be as a kid and pick around the campfire. And then last year around this time I was working full-time job and part-time job, going to school and just playing the guitar on the side and doing a little bit of gigs and stuff like that. And then roll around to the beginning of this year, I was still doing that up until about 2 or 3 months ago. I was working full time job, gigs on the side, and doing TikTok lives every night, the chance I could, and going to still hang out with my friends and everything. And then a couple videos blew up for me, and it just from there, I released my first single, Maxed Out, and it just ever since it's been pretty crazy.
And I think you're getting ready to embark on your first national tour, right? Your first tour, and you're going to be coming to our area, which is St. Louis, Missouri, October 4th at the Old Rockhouse in St. Louis, Missouri. This is the Tennessee Sunset Tour, right?
Yes, sir. Dude, we took a lot of planning into this, and I just wanted to do something like solo acoustic for my fans when I'm, because it's all happened so fast. I didn't want to just jump into nothing, so I was like, man, just put me and my guitar, and I'll have a real connection with my fans. So we're doing just a little tour. It's nothing major. It's pretty major. It's my first tour, Tennessee Sunset Tour, obviously, but
Yeah.
just a couple places here and there throughout October, and I'm pretty pumped about it. So.
Yeah, and we're excited to be having you in town again. That's October 4th at the Old Rockhouse, which is a great venue. I'm not sure if you've been there or not yet, but I think you're really going to like it.
I hope I enjoyed it. I've heard a lot about it. I've heard a lot of people say it's a pretty pimp place. So
Yeah, you're going to dig it. So I think, I mean, going from even just a couple months ago and now embarking on this tour, there's a lot of business that kind of goes into that. And I know your brother is your manager and helping you out, and you have some people working for you. But understanding that side of the business side of it, that's obviously that's probably something new for you, right?
it's definitely tough. I've definitely had to feel like I've aged. I feel like I'm 25 right now with all this business and all the stuff and I've had to grow up pretty fast. I feel like in the past, year or so in my life, and you turn 18 and then you work. When I had to file taxes for the first time, when I realized like growing old is not the way I thought it was going to be. And that's why it gave me the inspiration to write the EP Younger Years. So, and then after that, it's just been pretty crazy. And I enjoy it all, but the business side is probably not my favorite. I'm not going to lie.
I would imagine you're not the only one. You're not the only artist where that type of stuff isn't your favorite. And even maybe even interviews. I know you've done a few, but probably not a whole lot, right? So even sort of this kind of back and forth, is it somewhat new to you?
The podcast and the radio, it's definitely different. I've never really, I mean, growing up, I always talked to my friends and would talk to anybody in my small town because hell, we knew all each other. And then you get out here, and I don't mind it actually because I've lived in the same spot for so long. I've never met anybody new, and so I like getting out and doing all these things to meet everybody. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like I chose this career to do this stuff, like, or this career chose me. I never know. It's just, I feel like I like it a lot more than other people do, probably.
Livingston, Tennessee, right?
Livingston, Tennessee. Yes, sir.
Small town, a little bit outside of Cookeville.
Hmm.
We actually not drove through your town, but drove through on our way to the Smoky Mountains this summer. We stopped at the Bucky's at Crossville. I'm sure you know where that's at,
Yeah,
right?
that's about an hour away from my house.
So
It's pretty crazy.
how far are you from Cookeville then?
30 minutes. That's where we usually go to like do all our stop shopping, and if we want to go eat somewhere, then we'll go to Cookville because Livingston it's kind of dry. I mean, we have a McDonald's and stuff, but other than that, Taco Bell, all the fast food type stuff, and then if you want to get a good sit down restaurant, you go to Cookville and it's kind of go to a good sit down. Texas Roadhouse, Red Lobster, all good stuff.
That's the big city, right?
That's the big city. That's the biggest thing I'd ever seen until I was like 14. We went to Nashville, and I thought I was in New York City, and I was like, "This is crazy." And then you actually go to New York City, and you're like, "This is totally different," you know.
Where did
So
uh where did you record your EP, The Younger Years? Did you do that in Nashville?
I did it, and my producer lives in Hendersonville, so it's just at his house, and I'm actually in his kitchen right now. It's kind of funny. We're actually here recording, and I remember this meeting, so I ran in the kitchen. I was like, I'm gonna have to use this. So we're actually here right now, just recording a couple songs, and we recorded the whole EP here, and he mixed and mastered everything, and it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And I hear that he used to be Luke Combs' bass player. Is that right?
He did for I think on tracks and stuff like that. Maybe I'm not sure. I'd have to go ask him. He said I don't remember, but it's pretty cool. And him and his wife are a duo from California, Joe and Martina. It's pretty cool. Terabella actually. So
So being around people that's been in the music industry for a while, are you able to pick up on things? Are they able to kind of guide you in a way that you think is helpful for your career?
100%. They've they're kind of like family friends, kind of like parents now. So I can sit down and listen to them, and they'll teach me like not really teach me, but they'll be like, insist on this, or they'll be like, that sounds really good. You should try it this way and too. And then they just help out a lot. When I first come in here, I was nervous as a dog, and I was probably shaking on the couch. This won't tell me, but and then they just made me feel so comfortable and giving me tips and tricks, and I was like, this is awesome. So I'll come back every time. So
You mentioned Maxed Out going viral, and that thing blew up like crazy.
insane.
Was that expected at all? Did you know it was a good song? And what do you think it is about that song that resonates with so many people?
I just think at first, I'm gonna be honest, when we wrote it and I got finished with it, I showed it to a couple of my buddies, and I'm always real hard on myself, and I don't need to be. And I showed it to a couple of buddies, and they were like, "That's good, man. That's good." And I was like, "They're just lying. They're lying to me. They just want to be a nice friend." And I was like, "All right." And then when I brought up my producer Joe, and he was telling me, he's like, "Man, that's a good song." And then it just never registered with me. And then we kept posting videos, and people was liking it. And then when I released it on April 19th, and seeing all the people listening to it, I was like, man, like I didn't know this many people like felt the same feeling I feel. And it's crazy that I wrote that song, and it's like I think people resonate with it so much because it's the truth. Like everything about that song, maybe not the drinking part. I've kind of emphasized it a little bit, and I'm not of age, but we can talk about it. But it's just that's what people go through when they have a heartbreak, or this girl, they just can't seem to get them out of their mind. They feel like the only thing they can get is like they drink themselves to death, and that's all they turn to. They turn to drugs or alcohol, or they just won't leave the house or whatever it is, but they turn to something to try to just forget that peace that they had for a long time. And it's just hard.
A lot of artists say that they don't read their own comments, but it's hard not to, right? Did you
Yeah.
did you ever get up in that comment section and hear something or read something that somebody said that it was like really touching to you or maybe even like mind blowing?
A lot of it was just I didn't. I used to go through my comments and I used to like every one, and then I'm very blessed, and I had a lot more fans roll in, so it's getting a little tougher to do all that. But I think there was some comments that was like, and they still until this day they're like, man, you've helped me so much, like get through this and get through that, and I just never knew that if I personally wrote a song with one of my buddies that it could make somebody else feel the same way that I feel, and I guess I've always been the guy to I don't know. I want to help others more than I help myself. So like it's the way I was raised and what I was taught to do is be kind and kindness will return. So that I just love spreading like good news to everybody and let them know that they're not alone and they have some other people there to be like, hey, I feel the same way, brother. Let's be friends. So
And I think that's part of the beauty of music. At least one of the reasons that I love it so much is that it can connect people. It can be relatable. You can say something in your song that relates to me and my life. And I've listened to
mhm.
songs before. Maybe you have too. You're like, I feel like this song was written for me. You
Yeah,
know,
no, I'm like, this is describing everything in my life. And I'm like, if I could do that for somebody else, like I didn't really get into music until I was like 15. I started working in a little restaurant. Uh, Rhonda Demps was my boss, and she got me on the Tyler Childers kick, and I was like, this man, like the words in his songs, and he's he's a, he's telling a story, but explaining my life at the same time. Maybe not at 15, but he wrote most of his songs when he was 16, 17 anyway. But when I felt like I was actually listening to the song and understanding the words, I was like, it would be cool to do this. And then I finally just got a guitar and started playing. So,
see one of your musical heroes and who else is on that list? Who else do you find inspiration from?
Tyler Childers and Zach Bryan and all these new guys, Sam Barber. And then I get a lot of like wordy things from Elvis, BB King. I like BB King a lot. And Mac Miller and all these guys you don't really hear about anymore. I like those guys a lot. And they really, if you listen to something like the one thing, you're gonna write about the one thing. You're gonna make another song like the one thing. Like my goal is to take from here and here and here and here everywhere and make my own. So I want to be different from everybody else. I guess I don't know.
So you say you're in the studio now. What are you currently working on?
So we're working on hopefully another EP soon. I don't know. I don't know how soon, but we're working our asses off. I'm not gonna lie to get this done. So
So you have songs written already, or is this part of the writing process, the creative process?
well we just got done writing a couple weeks ago, and then now we're in the studio cutting them. So
Probably a pretty exciting time, right? To get even, newer music out.
yeah, no, it's definitely like I think about it every day. Like when am I going to get new music out? What can I get to the fans? But it just takes time, and you don't want to rush anything. You want to make sure everything's perfect and that your fans will enjoy the music. So it's just a time thing and really waiting and really perfecting all the music, like to make it worth listening to. I'll have to come out to Missouri and be in the studio.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. We'd love to have you. And we're really excited. October 4th at the Old Rockhouse in St. Louis, Missouri, the Tennessee Sunset Tour with Bayker Blankenship and bakerblankenship.com for all the other information. Thanks so much, man. Be safe out on the road.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. It anytime I get to do something like this, it just means the world to me. So I really appreciate it.
All right, brother. We'll catch you when you get into town, okay?
All right, man. Peace.
Thanks.